Hey everyone, it's Triple Mango Threat or Ashley, and today we're going over a commander that loves kicker and counters, so let's jump right into it. Our commander is Hallar the Firefletcher. It's a 3/3 elf archer that costs 1 red green, and it has trample. It also says whenever you cast a spell, if that spell was kicked, put a +1/+1 counter on Hallar the Firefletcher. Then Hallar deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it to each opponent. Our commander really cares about spells that we cast that have been kicked, so when it comes to ramp, we have Everflowing Chalice, Grow from the Ashes, and Primal Growth. All of these have kicker, and when we cast them, including their kicker cost, we start putting counters on Hallar, Elfheim Druid, Elvish Mystic, and Llanowar Elves. These are the mana dorks that we have, and we can pay 1 to 2 mana to get a green mana the next turn. What's neat about Elfheim Druid is that we can tap it for 2 green when we cast a spell that has kicker, which makes total sense for the deck. As for removal, we have Cinderclasm, Comet Storm, and Fangtongue Yearling. We get a tiny board wipe with Cinderclasm. We can pay 1 and a red to deal 1 damage to each creature, or we can pay 1 and 2 red to deal damage equal to 2 to each creature. Super small board wipe, but this will take out most tokens, and we get a counter on our commander. Comet Storm can target anything, and it deals X to it. Paying for the multi-kicker helps us target multiple things, and it still deals the same damage that we paid for. Fangtongue Yearling enters the battlefield, and we can deal damage equal to its power, which originally is 2 to target creature. Multi-kicker gives us the opportunity to deal more damage if we wanted to. Mold Shambler, Orion Reef Recluse, and Verduran Emissary. These could be helpful as well. We can destroy a non-creature permanent, so a land if we wanted with Mold Shambler. Orion Reef Recluse destroys a creature with flying, and this probably won't be the most helpful because a lot of creatures in Commander will not have flying, but this helps with that specific keyword. Verduran Emissary, we can destroy an artifact, which I find this to be better removal because there's going to be a ton of artifacts in EDH games. Protecting our commander is very, very important because our kicker spells are not great by themselves. So Alpha Authority, Snakeskin Veil, and Sporeback Troll. All great ways to protect Hallar, and what's neat is that they're all different card types. So instants are always nice because it's information our opponents don't know about yet. Unlike Alpha Authority, they know that Hallar has hexproof when enchanted by this. Giving our commander lifelink is actually a really cool thing because Basilisk Collar and Loxodon Warhammer both are great ways to give our commander lifelink, like I said. And why it's important is because our commander is dealing damage to our opponents, so we can gain 10 or more life very easily. So let's talk about counters. Our commander loves them and wants a lot of them, so if we can't get them fast enough with kicker spells, we can speed up the process with Forced Adaptation, Predatory Hunger, and Evolutionary Escalation. These are great options for getting counters on Hallar, and each upkeep we get a +1/+1 counter, and if an opponent casts a creature spell, we get a +1/+1 counter as well. Evolutionary Escape may not look like much, but it's really cool for this deck. At our upkeep, we put 3 +1/+1 counters on a creature we control, and 3 +1/+1 counters on a creature an opponent controls. So they're both constantly getting bigger. This is to assume that our opponents have creatures, and they may not, which is even better. Ring of Colonia and Ring of Valkus. Both equipment let us put a counter on our commander for it being red or green, and Hallar now has trample and haste. Probably my favorite card for getting counters is Hydra's Growth. At our upkeep, we double the number of +1/+1 counters on the enchanted creature. This gets out of hand very quickly, and we end up ending the game in a turn or 2 after we cast this. As for card draw, we have Keen Sense and Snake Umbra. Whenever the enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, we draw a card. So dealing damage to 3 opponents draws us 3 cards. These are the powerhouses for the deck and probably the best way to draw cards in it. Return of the Wild Speaker and Rishkar's Expertise. We draw cards equal to our commander's power, and that's a ton of cards at once. The neat thing about Rishkar's Expertise is that it lets us cast a spell with 5 CMC or less from our hand. Well, Rishkar's Expertise is actually the highest CMC card in here, so every other card in this deck is 5 or less, and that means we'll never miss this awesome ability. Thank you all so much for watching. If you'd like to purchase this deck, I'll have a link in the description, and when you purchase it through the link, you help support the channel at no additional cost to you. If you'd like to become a patron, you can also see your name at the end of these videos and other rewards as well. Be sure to comment down below and subscribe for more Mango content. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.